I guess. I don't know what happened to Alice, but what we got to do this morning is first we're going to take a 9x13 sheet and I'm going to grease this because we're going to make the dough balls and put them in there. And I think I'm going to make make the glaze as well. So because we're going to just form the stuff, form into balls, and it's just going to sit for another 2 hours and rise, do a second rise. So I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually put it in the fridge because mine is so sticky that I think that 5 minutes in the fridge is going to help it be a little bit more easy to work with. So if you want to do that, feel free to do the same thing. So that, we'll see if that has an effect or not, but a lot of times just putting it in the fridge for a few minutes will make the dough a little stiffer and maybe a little less sticky, which I think we're gonna need. Good morning, Alice.
Hi, sorry.
All right. How is your dough looking?
Amazing.
Did that go all the way to the top?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
All right,
That's a lot of rise.
I know. Although it collapsed as soon as I moved it boldly.
That's all right. Cool. What I just told these guys, I just drop mine in the fridge while we do the next few steps, just because I think it'll make it a little easier to work with. It'll be a little stiffer and less sticky. So do that. Cool. And so the next thing is just to grease this pan. I'm gonna use some Crisco because it's easy. You can use butter. Butter will probably taste better. Crisco's easier. So I'm just gonna do that. Do you all have pans with high walls, or are you using like more like a Pyrex baking dish?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you could use it. Some...
I'm using the Pyrex.
Cool. Yeah, yours probably when they rise, Amherst, they'll probably rise over the top of that Pyrex. So we'll have to figure out what to do about that, just to make sure, because we'll put like plastic wrap over or something. But yours runs the risk of sticking, so we'll have to come up with a solution.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So we can use anything to grease our pan?
Yeah.
You're gonna help me with my roll? Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. Just
Please.
Why is it gone?
And 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar.
Why did it go forever?
One more recipe. Oh.
But we need the bread.
So this is.
And we need the bread.
No, this is different.
And we need the bread too.
yeah.
So, think.
I'm gonna use the bread. I'm gonna use the bread.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do.
Yeah, we're gonna make the sugar.
Yeah. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is let's make the tops right now, the glaze, and I'm just gonna take 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, and so we'll put that in here. So give me a tablespoon thing or anything. Yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Sorry, David. 3/4 cup of what?
Of powdered sugar.
You?
Using powdered sugar now.
You better.
Sugar. You can actually do this later if you want,
I'm
but
hold it.
we're all on the call right now, so might as well.
Wait, this is for the glaze or the cross?
This is gonna be for the cross. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna do this right now. But like I said, we're not actually gonna put the cross on until after it's done baking. So feel free to do it later. But I'm just gonna do it right now because we're on the video together. And I'm just gonna put it in the fridge. So
How much milk?
all right.
How much milk?
What's that?
Oh, did you just add milk? Or-
Yeah, so I added 2 tablespoons of milk and to my 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. Mix it up, and this should become a nice, pretty thick glaze here.
Sorry, David, you broke up. How much milk?
Tablespoon.
A tablespoon. Okay.
I
Thank you.
just did-
So this is just frosting, basically, at this point.
You want to help?
Okay. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna mix.
There you go.
Oh, well.
Well, it can just.
It's very hard.
All right, that's it.
I would mix that a little bit more.
Taste?
What?
Taste.
Yeah.
Put your finger.
Cool. So I mixed mine up, and it's got like that kind of consistency, and that's gonna that's what we're gonna make the cross out of later on. So now this is just gonna go in the fridge until we need it.
Just leave the finger in there because you're gonna.
All right.
You don't add a vanilla extract to your icing or anything like that?
The recipe didn't. I would have if we thought of it, but I don't know if I want to add any more liquid to it now, adding vanilla extract to the
Oh, to the topping?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could have done that. Oh well. Yeah, that'll affect the amount of how runny it is, obviously. So whatever vanilla extract you add, you want to not add that milk.
right. Or just add milk to your finger.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I guess we could have made this just before we put it on the buns, but whatever. I made it now. All right, you want to grab me that dough out of there? I'll try to fix this milk.
Oh, it smells so good.
I was number.
All right.
Want to wash?
So you guys ready to shape these things or what?
Yep.
I'm like 30 seconds behind.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scrape this thing out onto the counter, and then we're gonna divide it into 12 parts. Let me actually weigh mine to find out how much they should be divided into.
Get the weird hole.
Yeah.
Oh.
It should come out to like 92 grams each, I think.
Hey, David, this is going to be similar to when we made the bagels, right? So I'm going to need like good, clean, not my wooden table.
Yeah, that probably would be helpful. I guess we could do it on a wooden table.
Yeah, a work surface that you're willing to put everything on.
Yeah, it's gonna be big, so it's gonna be a big area.
1971.
So 3240 minus 1979.
Who watched this?
Divide that up there. Okay, so mine are gonna come out to 105 each. But I put a pretty good amount of accoutrements in it, and chocolate and apricots. So for Amherst who didn't put anything in, maybe you're gonna go for something smaller, like. Well, actually,
Amber doesn't have a scale, it doesn't matter.
yeah, so it doesn't matter.
David, are you flouring your surface?
I'm gonna, yeah.
Okay.
I think this is gonna stick it out. All right. I'm just gonna leave my flour bag out here because I'm gonna probably use that. Should we wash this table?
Yeah, it's okay.
Why have I do it like that?
That's how we're gonna put the dough on here.
All right, let's get down to business then. So I'm gonna put a bunch of flour on the table here. I think we put a little bit up there where I plan on landing these things. All right, so first going to get that nice and floured, and then let's get this out of the bowl. Moment of truth here. Oh, it feels so fluffy.
Ooh.
Mine rose so well overnight, and I was a little bit worried because I thought it was gonna be too cold in here because we forgot to lock our back door last night, and the wind blew it open.
Oh my god.
So my back door was open at some point. I got up at 6, and I saw that it was swinging open. And I was like, oh, it was like freezing cold in here. But it didn't seem to affect the rise, so that's good.
I'm not trying.
Okay, just wait. Don't touch it.
People, you don't want to incorporate too much flour at this point, but we do have to be realistic in that this is might be a little difficult to work with. So gonna put a little flour on there, and then we'll just try to cut off some chunks. I'm aiming for 105 grams each. So
You're not
probably be somewhere around there.
You're not going to turn it into a roll?
Oh yeah, actually that's right. So the instructions did say to turn into a roll first. So let's get this to be longer. This will make it easier to cut into pieces.
Yeah.
So we'll make this into kind of a longer roll. And this will be helpful for you, Ambrose, too, because then if you make it into a big log like this, then you can just start dividing it into chunks.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That looks big.
142, so that's too big. You know, the first few I'm gonna get the wrong size on.
Is it gonna be raggy?
So you're just sort of guessing the size for.
So I have my scale out here.
Yummy.
So yeah, the first one I did, I just took a chunk and
Yum, yum,
so for me, that came out to about 100 grams. So if that gives you a sense of how big it is
Yeah.
in there. And then we're going to do kind of a little two-step shaping here. So this guy I just cut off. I'm going to just shape it into a rough ball, and I'm just going to leave it on the counter there. And then we'll actually go and try to shape them nicer later. But because I figure at some point we're just going to have these like odds and ends that need to get kind of matched together. So I'm doing a pre-shape phase here.
And we ultimately want 12, is that right?
Ultimately, want 12. That's right.
I wanna have some.
This is the dough, so we're going to.
Down.
So you having some help over there, Mikey?
Yeah. She's telling me what to do. She wants to eat it right now.
So David, you're just making a ball. You're not using any fancy dough, whatever
Yeah.
technique.
Just into a ball.
Meanwhile, I can't find my new bench scraper.
No.
I know.
Your kitchen's not that big. Where could it be?
I know.
You'll find doing this technique, what they call the pre-shape, especially if you're handling the dough a lot like we're doing right now and kind of cutting it, it'll just make it easier later on when we go to make the final shape of it. Because if we try to form these into buns right now, you'll notice that some of them will come out lumpy and some of them will be square and some of them
Perhaps can you help her?
What's that?
Okay.
Number 6. Pretty good.
Nice. Nice.
I'm gonna get some apricots poking through here.
I'm using all my self-restraint to not pull the chocolate chip out of the dough and eat it. Because I know that later, I'll enjoy it later.
That's true. When we have a bag of chocolate chips, you could just eat out of there. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be telling you that, but
I worry that bun doesn't have a single chocolate chip in it.
I can feel some lumps in
All
there.
right.
Yeah, see right there.
Okay.
There's your chocolate chip.
One chocolate chip. What a lucky girl I am.
Mhm.
Here's your one chocolate chip that you get.
Do you want to do some of this?
Meh. Have you eaten the dough this morning?
Nope. Grab a piece. Let's see.
Oh, this piece has a chocolate chunk in it. Convenient.
Oh, tastes good to me.
Yeah. I think the pumpkin pie spice actually added a lot of.
Yeah.
But guys, there was an egg sitting in that at room
I was
temperature.
gonna say we probably shouldn't do that. Like eggs and milk coming in here overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if we die, you'll know why. What a way to go.
Yeah. I only had a small chunk at least. We watched The Little Mermaid last night after bun making.
That's right.
We got Disney Plus login from some friends, so now we're revisiting our childhoods.
Yeah. It's kind of twisted. I don't know. Like, a lot of
it's
people die in there.
like, and just like overt like racial stereotypes and like.
It wasn't as bad as Peter Pan, which we watched last weekend.
Yeah, that was just offensive.
Those movies have not aged well, a lot of them.
No, that's true. Actually, somebody was telling me that I didn't see it on this one, but somebody said that on the Disney Plus movies, there's like a warning at the beginning that says like this movie was made in a different time or something. And,
Oh, really?
yeah,
This
but
one
did it say that?
the warning
Tobacco use, right? Because there's like a scene where like one of the guys is smoking a pipe.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I was most disturbed by the scene where Sebastian is in the kitchen and the cook's trying to kill him. It was like so traumatizing. I think as a little kid it would be traumatizing because it's like he's running around the kitchen trying to dodge this crazy chef who's like trying to hack his head off. And it's like
Wielding a really big knife. Yeah.
yeah, and there's like, you know, dead fish everywhere, like all of his friends. There's like a scene where there's like a bunch of dead crabs that have been stuffed. And it's
Yeah.
like that's so traumatic.
Are yours all laid out, Amorous?
Yeah, I mean, I was just eyeballing it, so they look fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. All right. These are looking pretty good too. What do you think?
Yeah.
Boom. All right. So I got 12 somewhat circular objects here on the counter.
Wow.
So now I guess now it's time to just shape them into their final shape. At this point, what you could do, if you were doing this on your own time, is you could just leave these on the counter, maybe cover them with a cloth and leave them here for half an hour. And that's, again, just going to make it easier to shape them. But whatever, I'm just going to do this right now. So you see the ones that I actually even started with. So I started with this one. It's actually nice and smooth in a circle now, whereas the ones that I finished with are still all lumpy. So I'm just going to take this and then kind of get some of that flour off. And then we're going to just shape this like a shape in the boule or like we did with the bagels. Again, just to get a tight surface on it. So I'm going to just grab the top, fold it to the middle, grab the middle, fold it to the top. And then I'm going to do the, I guess then you can fold, you know, east to west. You get this little ball, flip it over, and then just form it into a tight little package here. So that's one way to do it. And then kind of pinch the bottom close here. There we go. So
I'm gonna do another one.
That should be pretty good. Yeah, so then I'm gonna just take this and I'm just gonna drop it in the pan. But let's grab a different one. I'll show you the technique that I actually like for these. It's a little bit easier. So flip it back over, just the flour off of it. And I'm just gonna fold, the top to the bottom, bottom to the top. I have this sort of like cannoli looking thing. Take the two ends, stretch them, and then pinch them together. And now I got like this little dumpling. And then it's all sealed now because I pinched it. And then I can just kind of roll this into a ball some more. And then that's going into the pan as like that. So, ta-da. Any questions about that? You guys should be pretty good at this by now. Though.
I think this is where I went wrong with the bagel, so I'm just watching you right now.
Okay.
Is the camera angle good?
Yeah.
All right. So I flip that over, brush off the flour on that, and go the top to the bottom to the top, fold it like a taco, and let it drop. There we go. That's my little rhyme for you.
Love it.
And so I get that kind of ridge there, and then flip it back over and just kind of tuck. You can use the
And when we put it in the pan, we're not going to touch it again before we bake it, right?
That's right. This is final. This is
Because the bagels, like I think I was, there were too many touchings.
Yeah, I think the same thing for when I made the bagels is that they rose nicely, and then we went to put them in the water. We kind of just mangled them. Fortunately, once you put them in here now, we don't have to take them out until it's time to eat them. All right. I can feel these already getting fluffy again. So they're going to go now, and they're going to do it the 2-hour rise. Go. Yeah, so if you can find your bench scraper, you can kind of use that to like twist and push here, which is nice. Makes it a little bit easier. And the idea, right, just to tuck it all in, get some surface tension there. All right, you want to put that thing down, Jenny, so I can see everybody else?
If you need it back at the above view angle, you can tell me.
Just holler. Yeah.
This is maybe a little bit more than
Okay. We should count it, make sure we get 12. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, I
5,
did,
6.
I may have overdone it on the fruit.
Yeah, I got a lot of fruit popping out of mine.
Can these go closer to the edges?
Sure. I don't really want to move a whole lot. Yeah, that's fine.
Good.
See?
1, 2, 3.
12. Yeah, we've got 12 going.
Are you done shaping, Mikey?
Yeah, they're pretty agricultural, to be honest, but they'll do.
Let's see them. I just saw them briefly there.
What's that?
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they rise, they all rise. They'll actually rise together.
Yeah,
Fuse together, and that'll help them all look even at the end.
they're not pretty, but they'll do.
Mommy, no,
Is that raisins in yours, Mikey?
Yeah, I went heavy on the raisins because I like raisins.
Right.
And I soak them in vanilla essence and a quick splash of vanilla rum.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Like a real quick splash. That could be an interesting flavor.
What do they call raisins on the Great British Baking Show? Isn't it sultanas or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes a slightly bigger version of a raisin, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Much the same thing.
Do you want to do one of these, Jenny?
Oh, no, I'm okay.
Okay.
I feel lazy today.
Mhm.
Speaking of feeling lazy today, anybody doing anything nice and lazy for their rainy day?
We're going to look at a house. That's what we're going to do.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, 3 houses, actually. It's
Where?
more exploratory than Needham.
Oh,
It's a nice area.
That's the burbs,
You're
huh?
leaving Charlestown?
Well, well, we're thinking about it. We've got some relatives in Needham, so and we're also going crazy in this 2-bedroom condo, so with 4 kids and 6 cats.
You
feels like
own your condo, Mikey?
Yeah.
How long you been there for?
Ages, like 10 years.
Wow.
Probably changed a lot since then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It was very towny-ish when we arrived. It's very family-ish now. Certainly this area is.
Yeah.
You have how many kids?
It feels like 6, but we've actually got 2. I said 4 kids and 6 cats. We've got 2 kids and 3 cats. But magnified in a 2-bedroom condo, it's about the equivalent of 4.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that this.
I have deep empathy, but I was just confirming the actual number.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole quarantine has got a lot of people questioning their life choices.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I'm buying a bigger house.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I'm getting rid of my kids.
Are either of your kids school age yet, Mikey, or they're all pre-K?
Yeah, Harper's in 2nd grade and Coco's still with a nanny, but she'll be in school this time next year, I think.
Where did Harper go to school?
Right next door. We live right next door to Warren Prescott, which is the local elementary school.
Yep.
So he literally rolls out of bed and he's at school. Literally, we abut the school. We're actually on it.
I'm sorry, we've been over there.
Yeah. I've been over there. Well, it's nice. The school has has open space over there, right? So if you wanted to do like scootering or.
Yeah, that's right. Technically, we're not supposed to use the playground, but we still scooter around it and occasional slide on it. So.
All right. Yeah, see these guys a little bit off center. See if I can push them over. Might not be worth it. Yeah. All right, I got a dozen buns ready to rise.
They look pretty
Ready to
good.
rock. Yeah, they do. Look at this one. It's got chocolate chunks and apricots poking
Popping
out.
out. Yeah, that first one. Look how nice and rounded it is.
Which one?
This,
This
that
one?
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because it was in there longer.
Yeah. So yeah, these are gonna so you can see where they are on my pan. They're like halfway up the pan, and then over the course of the next couple hours, they should hopefully rise until they're actually basically to the top for me. So if you have a pan with a lower edge, just be aware of that when you go to cover it. So for me, I got, again, this makes my life so much easier. I can cover it like that and let this guy rise at room temperature for the next 2 hours. If you don't have a nifty cover like that, use plastic wrap or whatever, but so see if we can figure out a way to make the plastic wrap not stick. I got a few ideas. One thing you could try to do is if you had some toothpicks, you could kind of put some toothpicks in there, and then that'll give the plastic wrap something to lay on top of. Try that.
I think I might actually have a cover, but it's not that tall.
I think you can also do too. You can cover with a cloth, and that might stick less. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit floured. You could dust a little bit of flour if you're afraid of it sticking. Could be a way of doing it. But it is only going to be 2 hours. It's not going to be overnight.
Yeah, this I have this kind of like flat top. Do you think I could use
that? If you lay it over it, it might give it just that extra ½ inch, which might be enough.
Yeah.
So I guess do that, and then you can also check an hour.
Keep an eye on it, and if it starts lifting up, then you know.
Yeah, if it starts to stick or something, you'll know it's a good solution. Cool. So these are going to rise, and then let's see. We'll reconvene 10:30. I think I put. What time did I put? 12:30 to come back here. Do you want to check that email?
I think you put 12, but
I mean, it doesn't really matter. You want to look because You used your brain.
I was gonna say, but you can
Are
tell.
we doing a thing before we put them in the oven?
Yeah, no, actually, so this is all right. So actually, this is a good question. You actually don't. You could just drop these guys in the oven as is when they rise. What you can do, so this official recipe here that I printed out, what they do is you want them to be kind of a shiny at the end of this, and so what they do is they bake them as is, and then after they cool, they take water and jam, apricot jam, mix that together, and then they brush it over the top, and that just
They do
makes
that before baking or after baking?
after. So you can do that, or what I'm going to do, which is what my mom does, is she does an egg wash before baking. So I guess it's kind of up to you. I did the apricot jam thing last time, and they came out good. They came out well, but I think I'm going to try the egg wash this time.
Okay. The email that you sent said 12 o'clock, bake. Preheat oven to 350, brush your buns with egg, then bake for 30 minutes, then cool in a wire rack.
Cool. All right.
You're
Yeah.
allowed to change though.
There's the catch is that'll give it an hour and a half to rise from right now. I feel like I might actually want it to rise longer than an hour and a half. It's sort of tough right now.
It's just the 4 of us. We can change the time.
Yeah, so maybe we should do that. Why don't we try to bake at 12:30, and then we'll come back on here at 1:30 because they should be cooled by then, and then we can dive in. We can put the cross on them and eat them at that point at 1:30. How's that sound?
Yep. Sounds good.
So let's go through. We're going to let them not do anything for 2 hours. Cover them, set them aside.
Yep.
Then we're going to either whip 1 egg and brush it on top.
Yeah.
Or directly put it in the oven.
You got it.
Does this need, you said something about water bath. Does this need water bath or no?
Nope.
No, okay.
This
I was
is-
just imagining extra things.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. These should be pretty easy to bake.
Okay, so we put them in, we follow the baking, it's in the thing, and we get back on at 1:30 to check in with you. Should we put our milk sugar in the fridge in the meantime?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Milk sugar.
Probably cover it because it'll
Dry
start
out.
to dry and get crusty.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? 350 is what you want to cook
So
it at.
350 for half an hour is what you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. Yeah, and if 2 hours come by and yours don't look like they've risen a lot, like just let them rise longer and bake later in the afternoon or something. It's a little bit like I always said. It's kind of always a little tricky being trying to time everybody to line up at exactly the same moment. So feel free. Priority number 1 is to make delicious buns.
Yeah.
Priority number 2 is to do it with us at the same time. Cool. Any other questions?
Comments, good jokes.
I just want to say that I was not asleep.
I saw the text message. I knew that you weren't asleep, but I was like, odd that Alice isn't here yet.
Alice was not going to shower because I don't usually shower before these, and then I was like, I am too cold, I must shower.
Hey, the sun just came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not the snowy morning I ran in.
Cool. 12:30 in the oven. 1:30 back on the call. See you all then.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.